Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Geek Culture Congress, Free Comic Book Day edition. Welcome. I am one of your hosts, as always, Speedy Jr Gonzalez, and I am accompanied by Mr. Randall Armstrong himself from Blank Variant Comics. How you doing, sir?
Good, sir. Good. How are you?
I'm doing really good. Tell me, we're going to talk a little bit about Free Comic Book Day, which a lot of people don't even understand what Free Comic Book Day is. I was like talking to people and trying to explain, like, hey, man, it's Free Comic Book Day Saturday. Like especially the people I know that got kids and stuff like that.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
everybody looks at me like, what? Like what is that? So, in a nutshell, without putting people to sleep, why don't you explain to the non people who don't know, should I say, or are not in the know, what Free Comic Book Day is, real quick.
Yeah, for people who aren't familiar with Free Comic Book Day, Free Comic Book Day is the for all comic book retailers, comic book stores, comic book fans. It's the biggest day of the year. Basically, there's like select comic books from various publishers that they make specifically just for this event, just for this day. Um, a lot of people think, oh, is it any comic book that I can get that's free?
Right.
Um, the short answer is no. No, it's not any comic book that you can
unless
pick.
unless you're
You're not
at a really good
gonna
comic book store
come
that's
and
just
be
trying
like,
to
hey,
get
free
rid of
comic book
stuff.
day, I'm
Yeah.
going to be a millionaire. No,
Yeah.
it doesn't
No.
work that way.
No.
There's
That's
just
funny.
only select comic books. They make these select comic books every year for Free Comic Book Day. Free Comic Book Day, maybe the reason many people still haven't heard about it is also it's still fairly new. Fairly new. It's been around at least for about 10 years now, I think, 10, 15 years. And so, I mean, comic books have been around since the 1930s, so almost 100 years now. And so, yeah, this is still
Wow,
kind of,
I haven't really thought about it like that. Yeah, you're right. Wow,
yeah,
that's
same
crazy.
thing,
Yeah.
same thing. Comic book rating still kind of fairly new in this industry.
Right.
Uh, but yeah, Free Comic Book Day is great for people to just for all ages. It's not just for kids. But there's a lot of books to select from that people can kind of just pick up, read if they like what they read because they're essentially just samples, short stories. If they like what they read, then they can inquire and they can ask the comic book shop owners like, "Hey, where can I continue reading this?"
Right.
And then it's up to the retailers, it's up to the comic book store owners and the employees for them to kind of give them that information and say, hey, this is what follows up after that. Or, if you like that, here's another book to recommend. And the smart thing is a lot of retailers will take this opportunity, this event, to kind of just promote other products in their store and really just try to drive people and create new fans.
Right. Get
Um,
people on their products, on their what they're pushing out there.
Absolutely. I mean, traditionally, comic book films are huge, so it's usually the first week of May that a comic book film will come out, like a big superhero blockbuster. So of course we just had the Avengers Endgame, which
Yes.
Thanos, they actually bumped that movie up early. It was supposed to come out roughly around the weekend of Free Comic Book Day, but they bumped it up early, so people have plenty of time to go see that movie two, three times, and then on this weekend they can actually go and into their local comic book store or any participating location and kind of just check out some of these comics. Cool information to point out
Mm-hmm.
also.
Go ahead.
This Saturday, Fathom Events is hosting the 1989 Batman film is being released
Oh
uh,
wow.
on Free Comic Book
Yes.
Day. And it just so happens that Free Comic Book Day is on May 4th,
Mm-hmm.
and that is also known as May the 4th be with you,
That's
uh,
right.
considered also a Star Wars day as
Yeah.
well. So it's a huge, huge day this weekend.
Yeah.
This Saturday.
And it's before Cinco de Mayo, so it's just
Then you have Cinco de Mayo.
yeah,
Yeah.
the next day, so it's just yeah, it's crazy.
You get comics on Saturday, and then you go drinking on your.
Yeah, it's crazy. All right, so let's talk about what's going to be available Free Comic Book Day for anybody who wants to jump on or sample anything new, right? So that's what really Free Comic Book Day is all about. They get to sample something new, right? Brand new.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. There's a lot to choose from. Again, for people who aren't familiar with comics, there are at least a dozen different publishers that are out there, and so a lot of these publishers are putting out, these free comic books. And one thing I do want to point out too, a lot of people don't know this, but each comic book store retailer actually pays for these books.
Wow.
They pay for these books to give out for free. So they are free to the public, but I hope that, people who go in there and they pick up these books, they realize that comic book store businesses are actually investing this money to really kind of just hand out to the people, the community, and also draw people in and have a good time. So not many people know that. They just think that publishers make these comic books and they hand them to the comic book store owners.
Yeah, you would think I thought that's what it was. I thought it was like
Oh, no.
Yeah,
They
that's wow.
make good deals on those books. Like a lot of these books are like 10 cents a piece, 15 cents.
Okay. All right. So there's
it's
something.
Yeah. You don't have retailers paying, over $1,000. Well, some of them actually probably do pay $1,000 because they order a lot for their store. But like you have people that are maybe paying like a couple $100s, few $100s to bring these books into the store to hand out to the community.
All right,
so
cool.
That's one thing I always try to point out to people is that, maybe if you have the opportunity, go to your local comic book store shop owner or employee and just say, hey, thank you for hosting Free Comic Book Day. Thank you for having this here for the people and for the community. Now, as far as like what's coming out, like there's a dozen different publishers. Of course, the top two publishers are Marvel and DC.
Right.
Marvel will actually have a nice a couple titles, I believe. One in particular will be a Spider-Man type title. I believe it's the beginning of they're promoting their new big story arc, which is the Absolute Carnage. Some referring this storyline as maybe a sequel to Maximum Carnage.
I think I found it. Yeah. So it's the cover's got a crazy Carnage on it, like that he's like looking all crazy, and it looks like Miles Morales Spider-Man and Peter Parker Spider-Man are having some words on the front of it. Yeah.
What's great about this is Donny Cates, who has been writing Venom, who is like one of the top writers at Marvel right now. Fantastic writer. He's headlining this, and this is going to be a major story to look for and get into and reading, especially if you're a Spider-Man fan, especially if you're a Venom fan and Carnage fan.
Wow, okay.
So look out for that in your local comic book stores. For people who are collectors and who like to sell comic books, and this is a book that's probably like a lot of sellers are looking at and looking to maybe buy several copies of and turn around and flip them and sell them. So this is
interesting.
Yeah, definitely something to keep their eye on. Especially like if you've seen the movie Venom and you've watched the after credit scene. Spoiler alert. Woody Harrelson is Carnage. He's set up to be the villain for the sequel to Venom.
That's right.
So I think with the comic books doing Absolute Carnage now, they're kind of like setting everything up for next year.
Very cool.
Especially because I believe the sequel is coming out next year, I believe. There's that with Marvel. Now, it wasn't with the line of the Free Comic Book Day, but I believe a lot of retailers will be giving this book out for free, even though there's a 25-cent price tag on it.
Inflation, right?
Right.
I hope it's a really thick book.
No. But it looks awesome. I mean, like some of DC's top creators are actually working on this 25-cent issue.
Okay.
I know these are one of the books that I will be giving out for free Free Comic Book Day.
Very cool.
It's called DC Year of the Villains. One of the things that people I think really like about DC Comics is that they have some of the best villains, especially like Batman's villains. This is Scott Snyder who's working on the story. We're talking like elements and aftermath of his recent big crossover, which was the Dark Knight's Metal, which was out last year.
Oh, I don't even find it on their page here. I'm scrolling here to try to find it, show everybody that's watching the show. I can't find it on their on the official website.
It's not Free Comic Book Day.
Okay.
Lineup of book. It's not
it's
part
just
of it.
Something that DC did.
Something that DC did, absolutely.
Very cool. Okay. Fair enough.
But the reason I mention this also is because not all comic book stores will be doing it. Maybe some comic book stores will be doing it. but because of the price tag of 25 cents,
Mm-hmm.
I do believe you might be able to find this issue being given out for free at your local comic book store. And that's definitely like one of the top ones to get. If your comic book store is giving that issue away, worst case scenario, it's only 25 cents. You pay,
So get it.
but
Grab
yeah,
it.
it's one of the best books to get right now.
Okay, cool.
It's just the beginning of this major storyline, which continues in the Justice League comics that Scott Snyder is writing, and it will also have tie-ins. It should actually, I believe, at the back of the book, will show you the list of all the tie-ins for the story arc. If you want to get the complete crossover event, all the different issues and stuff like that, that's the book to look for.
Very cool.
Then you have other publishers. One in particular I like to mention is Boom.
Yes.
Studios.
Boom Studios. They do Power Rangers and stuff, right?
Yes. Well, I don't believe they're doing anything with Power Rangers on this Free Comic Book Day. I think they're actually focusing on, because they just recently came out with the Buffy the Vampire Slayer comic.
Okay.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer is a cult hit television.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
I watched it when it originally premiered. I watched, all through the years when it was on television. Great series. Love the comics. So before Dark Horse Comics had the rights, now it's Boom. And so they're promoting both Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Firefly, which are both properties that were created by Joss Whedon. And if you don't know who Joss Whedon is, it is directed the first Avengers film.
That's right.
So, yeah. Oh, first two, actually. So I forgot about that second one.
Let's see. Can I find? I don't know. I can't find their issue either. But it's fine. But it might not be part of the actual thing too. It might just be Boom's thing, right? So some of the quick question before you continue. Some of the publishers just do their own thing apart from the Free Comic Book Day program.
I would say like very few. Very few.
Okay.
Like DC decided to kind of do their own thing.
Right.
Because usually there's like an actual list of everything that's coming out that's officially part of Free Comic Book Day.
Right.
And DC kind of just timed it perfectly where like, hey, Free Comic Book Day, let's go ahead and do this series. And even though it's got a 25-cent price tag on it, I do believe, like, because generally all the comic books that the people are ordering through Free Comic Book Day,
right,
basically the same price tag as getting that book.
Okay.
So I wouldn't be surprised if publishers are handing them out for free. Sorry, not publishers, comic book stores. Comic book stores are handing them out for free. Some will. Some, I can't guarantee that all comic book stores will do that. You might have your other comic book stores that are like, nope, 25 cents. But
I would have blamed them.
Oh yeah. But no, as far as Boom should be on the list. It should be on the list.
Or maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm just reading too fast. Oh, Whedonverse. That's the one. The Whedonverse.
Whedonverse. Yeah, there you go.
There you go. I got it up now for everybody to see. So as soon as you see that, it's a yellow cover. It's got little Firefly and Buffy at the same time on it. Yeah, looks pretty dope.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So that's some of the top ones I think people are going to be looking for. Okay. You have other independent publishers and like I said, like over a dozen different kinds. If you have the opportunity, like I know people that like to kind of go what's the term? I guess hunting. They like to go hunting for all the different issues.
Right.
Easter egg hunting, basically, right?
Yeah.
And what they do is, because some stores they limit, some stores will limit and say you can only get 2 or 3 per person.
Right. 3 or 4, something like that.
Yeah, just so it gives time for other people to get some of the copies.
Right.
Because you never know with the crowd of people that shows up to these stores. And also you never know how many books a store orders. So, like, they could fly out within the first couple hours that the store opens, or they might have enough just to kind of like get by for the whole first day. So, so also that's another thing I would like to mention to people is like if this is your first time trying your comic book day, try to get to your comic book stores as early as possible because they are not guaranteed to be in stock.
That's right.
100, 200 people can get in front of you, and each of them are picking up 2-3 copies each. And then before you know it, the copy of the book that you were interested in getting, not available. And then that's when you have to kind of put another copy. Thankfully, Florida has a lot of comic book stores.
Yeah, I think every comic book store is pretty much doing it. Any notable one, every notable one, I should say, is doing something for Free Comic Book Day. It's kind of like Black Friday for comic book stores.
Almost.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's the biggest day of the year. I don't know. I know there is another similar event called Halloween Comic Fest, and that's usually around October.
Mm.
That is also more recent. That's only been around for like maybe 5, 6 years, I think. And it's still around. So that means that it's doing, I think, fairly well for them to keep doing Halloween Comic Fest. I still don't think it's as big as Free Comic Book Day, but I think it's getting there. I think it's getting there in time because everybody loves Halloween. So like another reason to kind of like hey, let's go stop at the comic book store and get some free comics.
That's true. That's true. So anything else notable that you want to talk about that might be available for Free Comic Book Day as well?
You know what? I'm gonna mention DC again because
That's
I
fine.
actually do have one title that's on the list of Free Comic Book Day.
Uh-huh.
I forget the name of it, but like the cool thing that DC is starting to do now is they have two different imprints called DC Zoom and DC Ink. One particular imprint is to focus on the teen audience of readers, and then the other one is supposed to focus on children, the kids,
Okay.
more kid-friendly stories. And they're actually recruiting actual like book writers and authors that are known for working in that kind of audience of that generation of young readers. And so now they're kind of jumping on and they're using these iconic characters that DC has, and they're now making them into like like the Free Comic Book Day is more of the issue that they're doing is more of a sampler,
Mm-hmm.
but they're releasing as actual like short, small graphic
All right.
novels.
What's the name of the book again? Of the company?
I'm trying to remember. I think there was a Justice League one.
Justice League. I don't know. I'm striking out right now on the list.
Yeah,
I'm striking out hard. Striking out hard, Randall. Striking out hard. But
you can find
let's see here.
DC Ink or DC Zoom.
DC Zoom. I figured it would be on top, but I guess not. Like they're gold. They have I guess 3 different tiers. Oh no, 2 different tiers of books, gold and silver. Let's see. Oh, well, I'm just gonna have to take your word for it. It's probably just DC doing their own thing again, huh? But
No,
oh,
no,
it might be
it's
on the list,
definitely-
yeah. Or maybe this website's not right. I don't know. Who knows? But yeah. So that one is that seems like it's interesting too as well. Is that this one's gonna be targeted more towards kids then?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. It's like the two imprints are really focused on the youth.
Oh, okay.
You
Very
know,
cool.
like nowadays comics are really kind of written more for like they are essentially kind of like written for teens and adults, mostly adults, I think, since like the more majority that collect comic books are
I
adults.
found it. Dear Justice League. There you go. Yeah,
Oh, there.
there we go. Yep,
Yeah.
I got it up right now for everybody to see, and it's cool. Yeah, it looks like it's for kids. So the art
Yeah.
is definitely designed that way, and
Yeah,
looks very cool.
it's great that DC's kind of branching into that market.
Yeah.
Because these are like books that I'm sure if you remember the Scholastic, like remember when you were in school and they had like the Scholastic,
Mhm.
and they would show you all the different books that you could order from Scholastic. I think it's kind of like those types of books. It's really geared towards like the kids in school, and they can order those books and get those books. You'll find, because they're more like graphic novels, you'll probably find those books at Target. You'll probably find them at maybe even Walmart, Books A Million, Barnes and Noble. You'll find them generally in the bookstores because they have that a smaller graphic novel size format.
Very cool. Very cool. A last one that I want to talk about, just because it's near and dear to my heart, because there's been what when you're starving and somebody just throws something in front of you that to eat, and but you don't like it, but you don't have no choice. You're just gonna consume it anyway. You're like, oh my god, this is so great.
Yeah.
To see that the Titan Comics has the Robotech issue available for Free Comic Book Day.
Yeah.
And that I've been reading this one personally, this arc, and I have a love-hate relationship with it.
Yeah.
I love it because it's
I
going
mean,
in,
obviously, you're a
yeah.
fan. Was it the anime that basically got you into it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, from back in the day, definitely. I mean, you know, it's probably one of the more iconic cartoons in my youth, right?
Yeah.
Besides Transformers and everybody else, everybody's used to, 80s GI Joe, and
Oh, yeah.
the whole gambit of all the cartoons, you know.
Well, I mean, I think what's great about Robotech and Japan's always been great about this. Um, Here in America, and I hate to blame Disney for this, but Disney basically marketed animation for kids. So here in America, we grew up thinking cartoons are for kids, where in Japan, that's not how they see
No,
animation at
yeah,
all.
exactly,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. So when you watch Robotech, you see drama,
mm-hmm,
you see action.
yeah.
They were and still are, I believe, ahead of the game when it comes to animation. Um,
I think the first episode that I ever watched was the death of Roy Fucker, and I was
oh
like,
yeah,
wait a second, that guy died, and he ain't coming back, like
yeah,
he's dead, dead.
and you don't see that in American cartoons. You don't see
Yeah,
people. Very rarely do you
yep,
very rarely do you ever see someone die.
yep,
I love having this conversation because you have the classic Transformers animated film, and
uh-huh.
then you have your GI Joe animated film,
Right,
which came out the year after Transformers, and everybody remembers Optimus Prime dying
right,
in the
yes,
film.
yeah.
And so,
I was affected by that. Like I was like, what did I just watch?
yeah, a
Especially
lot of
when Megatron busts in and kills like four guys in the
oh
ship,
yeah,
and I'm like,
like,
what just happened? As a kid, I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm still trying to process what just happened. That's tough.
Oh, and you grow up loving these characters, and
Mm-hmm.
never once throughout the animated series you really watch Autobots die,
Yeah,
and then you see them die in the movie.
yeah,
And the reason that the producers allowed it was because they're not human beings; they're just
right.
robots. It's okay.
It was the '80s, late '80s, right?
But if you watch the GI Joe animated movie,
Mm-hmm.
you see Serpentor kind of
Yeah,
stretching out the snake,
yeah,
throws it, impales.
yeah. I know that was supposed to be the death of Duke. Yeah, that was supposed to be his.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna
And
retire
the
him.
thing is, I think because of the death of Optimus Prime and so many people
Yeah.
complaining, they kind of like wrote in at the end of the GI Joe movie that
Mm-hmm.
like after in the end when the GI Joes win,
Yeah.
here's somebody on the radio like, "Hey guys, great news! Duke's gonna pull through." Like,
Yeah.
Duke's not dead.
They
Not
cleaned
dead.
that
He
up nicely, huh?
nails his
With a
chest.
bow.
Yeah, yeah. So
But yeah, I like Robotech. I like the way they're going with the story. I invite everybody to grab the free comic book day issue. I love the art of Henry Persettia, I think is his name. And I'm not crazy about the other artists that they have that usually works on this book. And if you, yeah, I'll leave you to, if you go to some Robotech forums, you'll find out why. It's
yeah.
Robotech groups on Facebook. Yeah, they're pretty critical of the other artists. But I guess Henry Persetta does Mighty Morphin Power Rangers for Boom, so he has some chops, So his stuff looks pretty tight.
Sure, sure.
Yeah,
I'm actually personally not that familiar with his art. I'm actually behind on my Power Rangers reading right now.
yeah,
I do pick up the issues. I love the cover art. And a lot of times, of course, sometimes the interior art doesn't match the cover art. That's
yeah.
comic book 101 for
Right. They have
people.
another artist that usually does the cover, or
They'll
sometimes.
do like this beautiful cover that sucks you in, and
Yeah.
then you open it up and you're like,
Hmm.
it's not. That
That's the
was
milkshake that brings the boys to the yard. The cover. But yeah, I like to mention this book just because if even if you know Robotech, like this whole retelling is completely different. They're shaking it up. They're changing everything up. What you think is gonna happen might not usually doesn't happen, and what you expect, they're trying something new, and I appreciate it. So if you're a Robotech fan, Macross fan, you probably don't like Robotech if you're a Macross fan, but that's another discussion for another time. But you know, if you like Robotech, take a free issue of Robotech for free comic
yeah,
book day. Yeah, try it
yeah.
out.
And you said you've been reading up on this, so like obviously there's previous issues.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yes,
yeah,
I mean,
there's definitely a backlog of issues already out there. So anybody gets into the free one and they like it, it's there's a lot of content out there for them to get, physically or digitally. So
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I a lot of times I always recommend that talk to your local comic book store retailer, or you can go online and look it for yourself if you like. But I'm sure that they have the issues that you've read collected into graphic novels, into volumes, so that way they can kind of read and catch up.
Yes. Yeah. All right, Randall. I think that's it. I think we wrapped up everything that we want to talk about Free Comic Book Day. I just want to invite anybody who's local in the Tampa Bay area. I will be at Emerald Comics.
Emerald City.
Yeah, Emerald City Comics. I will be there with Albert Dalmas, who does the Alienox comic book. I'm kind of his story editor, so I'll be
Awesome.
there supporting him, and he'll be there, selling his book and looking for support for his story.
That's
So I'll be
yeah,
there, and then
wonderful.
after that, I'm gonna try and swing to other places. Yeah,
Yeah, wonderful store over in St. Pete. I like them.
yeah, it's a great store. It's a great store. Anything else you guys wanna well, go ahead and plug away Blank Variant Comics for anybody who doesn't understand your online store.
Yes, yes. So I am an online comic book store, Blank Variant Comics. I know it's an odd name. Essentially, like there are comics out there that are referred to as blank variants for people to kind of like collect and get sketches drawn on. So um, that's not going anywhere. So that's why I kind of chose that name. I like to specialize in ordering blank variant comics as well as ordering regular comics. As an online store, I don't have a store where people can go to, but thankfully, I'm fortunate enough that at my other job that I work at, which is Empanada World on Henderson Boulevard, they were more than happy to welcome me in and set up free comic books for Free Comic Book Day to participate.
Yeah, very cool. That's cool.
Uh, oh yeah, yeah. The one thing I can guarantee that
I'm
no,
actually I need to, I'm gonna go to your thing for Free Comic Book Day. That's what I'm gonna do as soon as I'm done over there.
that's awesome, and
Yeah.
then you can try the delicious empanadas that we have there.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that we have that no other comic book store is going to have.
Food.
Okay, the best empanadas.
Yes.
So, if you're hopping around to the different stores and you're thinking like, what store do I want to end Free Comic Book Day on? Over at Empanada World, come on by, get some delicious empanadas and a couple free comics.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, that's it for our free comic book day edition of Geek Culture Congress here. If you want to follow me, you can follow me, my social nocturnal life as a DJ at DJ Speedy Jr, all socials. Randall, go ahead and give them everything, all your socials, so they can follow you.
Yes, we are on Facebook. You can find us at Blank Variant Comics on Facebook. We're also on Twitter, which is at Blank Variant Comics, and we are also on Instagram as well.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time. We're gonna get you on a regular show soon, Randall. Okay.
Yes, I'm hoping in June I'm going to be a regular every Tuesday.
All right. I like it. I like it. So we'll talk again soon then. Okay.
Sounds great. Thank you
All
for
right.
having me.
See you guys.
Bye.